Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. Now guys, we have to begin with the biggest seismic shift in America's political landscape in quite some time. Joe Biden has decided not to run for a second term as President of the United States, prompting reactions from leaders around the globe. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk praised Biden, saying, "President Biden, you have made many difficult decisions that made Poland, America, and the world safer and democracy and freedom stronger. I know it was with the same conviction that you made this decision, perhaps the toughest of your life." But what's going on in the land where logic seems to rarely apply to reality? Well, the Russian propaganda machine is in full swing, even though it's not quite sure what to do with this news. The Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, seems to be at a loss, struggling to come up with a comment. She said that we still don't know anything, and without a personal appearance from Biden, it might very well be a hoax. Yes, because in the bizarre, twisted world of Russian politics, if it's not a full-blown conspiracy, is it even real? I mean, if Biden's statement is fake, what then? Well, Maria doesn't elaborate, probably because in the twisted maze that is the Russian mind, explanations are overrated.
Вы, кстати, хороший пост написали. Наш МИД намекает Байдену, что для него ничего не закончилось.
Я разве так написала?
Вы пишете, что должно быть расследование сговора американских СМИ и политических кругов.
От его имени, ну согласитесь. Это не было устное заявление, это не было голосовое заявление, это не было заявление, сделано в присутствии журналистов. И вы, кстати говоря, тоже, мы с вами видели немало подобных заявлений, потому что, в общем, это заявление, хотя не говорит о отставке его с президента поста Соединенных Штатов Америки, но оно действительно делает революцию в будущем президентстве. Мы с вами видели неоднократно, как это происходит. Так или иначе, люди делают видеообращения, записывают их, иногда выходят в прямой эфир, иногда делают это в записи. В том числе для того, чтобы, это очень важно, это, кстати говоря, очень важно для современного мира постправды, фейков и так далее, чтобы не было возможности для спекуляций. Для того, чтобы никогда не говорили, что это сделано не лично, что это сделано вместо человека, за человека и так далее.
Now, Russia has a long tradition of deceiving the public. Historians tell us that Stalin lay dead for weeks before anyone made his demise public. Brezhnev was reportedly uncontactable for months, and no one in Russian history has ever voluntarily given up power. So to the Russians, Biden's decision is absurd. It's like telling them that unicorns are real. And then we have the ever-reliable Russian security operative turned journalist, Pavel Zarubin, who just happened to bump into Putin near a restroom at the Kremlin. In any normal country, this would reek of a setup, but in Russia, they genuinely believe that he's just a reporter. Zarubin quickly responded to the news of Biden's withdrawal, reminiscing about the only meeting between Putin and Biden, which he described as marked by unprecedented organizational chaos. Now, according to him, this chaos was deliberately caused by the American side.
Из-за дверей истошные вопли на английском. Кажется, что так может кричать только человек, которого чуть ли не избивают. Нет, это члены американской делегации выступают со своими представлениями о том, как должна быть выстроена работа журналистов. Президенты, которые слышат все это, пытаются понять, что вообще такое происходит.
Не могут упорядочиться, строят заявление.
Россияне стоят в одну линию.
Русский пул в одну линию.
Вот я начало. Тут нет, это не русский. И самое важное, что нужно во всем этом знать. На такой процедуре настаивала американская сторона. США считают, что пресса должна входить только тогда, когда президенты уже сидят и разговаривают. Хотя уж точно логичнее делать все наоборот.
Я не держу.
Много было двусторонних встреч президента США, но такого еще не было никогда.
Пожалуйста, не переживай.
So, It took ages for the leaders of the two main nuclear powers to start their meeting and discuss urgent matters because the American press and protocol service created an unprecedented mess at the entrance to the hall. Journalists asking loud questions? How dreadful! In Russia, that's unthinkable. In Moscow's narrative, everything is neatly scripted like a bad soap opera, so as the world processes Biden's decision, Russia flounders in confusion, proving once again that in Putin's playground, reality is just another illusion. And now, another thrilling episode of What Nonsense is Putin Spewing Now? This week, the man who never met a truth he couldn't twist has outdined himself yet again. When asked about the recent power outages in Russia, Putin didn't just blame a technical glitch. Oh no, that would be too straightforward and simple. Instead, he claimed that the blackouts were caused by a sudden surge in electricity consumption from, wait for it, computer networks used for electronic theft. Yes, that's right, hackers have apparently gone from stealing your data to stealing your electricity. Now, next week, they'll be blamed for, swiping the Kremlin's secret cache of caviar. But let's shift our focus to Krasnodar, where the mayor, Yevgeny Naumov, show up at a protest against these very blackouts. The residents have been without power for more than a day, and interruptions in electricity and water have been dragging on for about a month. Naturally, the people are a bit miffed. So, what does our hero, Naumov, do? Well, he arrives flanked by security forces and proceeds to blame substations for the outages, claiming they simply, quote unquote, can't handle it. That's right, folk, it's not incompetence or corruption, it's the fault of those pesky substations. Who knew?
Что они делают?
Кто-то может что-то не видеть, не слышит. Хотя мы об этой проблеме знаем. Ну так просто. Поэтому и кабель тянем новый. Поэтому мы заставили электроснабжающую организацию тянуть новый кабель. А не латать ставить. До завтра
Можно вопрос?
Но управляющая компания, где ваша, которая спит? Здесь не одна. Мы приехали из губернства. 24 этажа. 23 этажа.
По очереди. Уважаемый мэр,
Я прошу, давайте по очереди, по одному. С дороги заберите людей. Эта дорога связывает микрорайоны города. Уберите людей с дороги.
And then, in a move straight out of the Russian playbook of theatrical absurdity, Naumov tells the protester that they can handcuff him to a pole if they want, promising that he won't leave until the power issue is resolved. Just tie me up, he says, which, let's be honest, is probably the first time a Russian official has offered to be restrained by the public. So let's get this straight. On one hand, you have Putin spinning fantastical tales about hacker-induced power theft, and on the other, a mayor practically begging to be turned into a human sacrifice to appease an angry mob. All of this, of course, while actual solution remains as elusive as honesty in the Kremlin press release. So, as Krasnodar residents ponder whether to take Naumov up on his offer and the rest of Russia grapples with his power issues, one thing remains clear. In Putin's Russia, reality is always just one more absurdity away from complete and utter farce. Now, picture this. Timur Ivanov, the former deputy defense minister, is currently pleading to be released from pre-trial detention. His reasoning? I was in combat. Yes, that's right, his lawyers are arguing that his participation in frontline combat in a shiny collection of state awards should be enough to get him out of jail. But hold on a second, the court, showing a rare moment of sanity, decided not to take the bait. Why? Because Ivanov, who is under investigation for allegedly accepting particularly huge bribe, is considered a flight risk and might tamper with the investigation. So he remains in custody until at least September 23rd. It's almost poetic, isn't it? A high-ranking official, part of the very system that thrives on corruption, now facing 15 years at a penal colony for corruption. Now, this is the same guy who was probably enjoying the perks of his position, now desperately trying to play the war hero card to dodge accountability. Let's be clear. In Putin's Russia, where reality often resembles a poorly written crime drama, the fact that Ivanov thought his medals and combat stories would get him out of jail is both laughable and telling. It shows just how deeply entrenched the culture of impunity is, even as the system occasionally devours its own. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake, but for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned. to TVP World.